Governor DeSantis stands strong against the woke corporate left and Joe Biden's new Ministry of Truth. As Shanghai becomes a prison city, Pope Francis makes a secret deal with the Chinese communists and plants another tree. The main reason the radical left hates this guy is the same reason they hate us. Tonight, from the Remnant Underground, the Elon Musk effect. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls everywhere. I am Michael Mann, and this is the Remnant Underground. Yes, that's right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you've been eliminated from the lexicon of woke newspeak. You no longer exist. The creators of the Magic Kingdom say so. That's right. Disney has dropped ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from its park greetings so that they can be more gender inclusive.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dreamers of all ages. Good evening, dreamers of all ages.
I don't know about you, but this just makes me feel a lot more included and just a lot safer, really.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
No more, ladies and gentlemen, no more boys and girls.
No, I'm not any one of those things.
No. And everybody's happier now. It's a better, big, happy, rosy world, I think. Now, not surprisingly, Disney's stock is plummeting because of this nonsense.
Walt Disney's turning over in his freezer. I mean,
Yes.
if you're a Disney shareholder, you should be furious. This was a great stock for decades. How did they get involved in a scandal that they have absolutely no connection to? They have nothing to do with this scandal, drag themselves into it, stop holding town halls. It's a disaster. The bill is pretty simple. No one is allowed to discuss sexuality with a 6-year-old.
Right.
That should be a federal law. Nobody anywhere can discuss sexuality with a 6-year-old.
By the way,
It's a small world after all, and Disney just ran into the Great Wall of Ron DeSantis.
Companies that have made a fortune off being family friendly and catering to families and young kids, they should understand that parents of young kids do not want this injected into their kids' kindergarten classroom. Our policy is going to be based on the best interest of Florida citizens, not on the musing of woke corporations.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls everywhere now have had enough. They're sick and tired of it. And pretty much everywhere you look, in the real world, you see what people think of this woke nonsense.
The transgender movement in this country, if there's a movement in this country that is demonic and that is full of the spirit of Antichrist, it is the transgender movement. They're dragging our kids down into the pit of hell, trying to teach them that mess in our schools. We need to get back to teaching them how to read instead of teaching them how to go to hell.
So St. Paul tells us to come out from among them, right? In the case of Disney, happy to oblige. As far as I'm concerned, they haven't come up with anything since what? Maybe Treasure Island? So we're done with them. Happy to oblige. Come out from among Disney, and even more delighted to come out from among the pedophiles who are currently running Netflix.
Today, we'll discuss the newest installment to Netflix's burning teen drama, Sex Education. The series may seem like a typical coming-to-age story at first. However, it's much more than that. It's filled with twists, turns, and most importantly, as the title suggests, very informative education on sex.
Whew, that's some scintillating stuff. And you really got to wonder, why Netflix is undergoing its biggest stock price drop since 2004. Oh, that's right. It's because nobody wants the Netflix crap, the sewage being pumped into their living rooms. Nobody actually wants this, except for the mentally disturbed out there who are having some problems psychologically. And the plummeting stock prices prove it. People are done with this. It's no longer about money. It's no longer about the bottom line. It's about the ideology. There's so many good people out in the world right now who are proving this, The media doesn't want us to know about them. They want to think everybody's woke, everybody's doing this. But when you look at what's happening to companies like Disney and Netflix, you can say, no, it's not true. You're making more fake news by claiming everybody is on board with Netflix and Disney and the rest of these lunatics. And don't forget, these big, bad, powerful companies, what are they? These are the powerful woke corporations, the global corporations that Klaus Schwab is counting on now to reset the world. Even the airlines have had enough of Klaus Schwab's satanic daydreams.
April 18th, the Biden administration announced that the Transportation Security Administration will no longer enforce the federal mandate requiring masks in all U.S. airports and on-board aircraft.
Really is a problem for a guy like Bill Gates. And he's actually sort of having some anger management issues over that right now. Here's Bill.
Well, that's interesting. What is the downside of wearing a mask? I mean, it's got to be tough. You have to wear pants. This is tough stuff. These societies are so cruel. Why do they make you wear pants? I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay, weirdo. And Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. The bottom line, friends, is this. In this election year here in the States, the lunatical rantings that we just saw from Bill Gates, the crazy that's coming out of these guys, this stuff, the nightmare scenarios that Klaus Schwab is still painting for us, even though he's now hiding his own Easter eggs and not far from death himself. The gibberish, the out-of-control, senile gibberish of Joe Biden, such as this, once again.
We're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Kleptocracy, and the guys who are the kleptocracies.
While this collapses, we have an opportunity. We need to see what we can do besides just sit around and complain about how strong and powerful they are. They don't look strong or powerful right now, in my opinion. And quite frankly, the world, I'm not talking about conservatives, I'm not talking about Christians, the world, everybody, your neighbors, the folks in the street, people at your children's school, everywhere we go right now, all those people would rather hear cheering on airplanes over finally getting rid of the stupid obedience mask than the screams of terror that the Great Reset is causing in Shanghai right now.
Listen to them howl from their balconies as they're further caged in. Some finding workarounds, buying their groceries through the added layer. Others desperately rattling locks, hoping to escape.
You know what you're looking at. Take away God. Take away freedom. Take away family. Take away free will. Take away private property. Take away, yes, the right to self-defense. And that's what you get. The whole world gets shanghaied. That's exactly what they want. What we just saw is what they have intended, what they have in mind for the entire world. Hell on earth. That is the world view of Antichrist. No God, no countries, no freedom, just the screams under tyranny. That's what you get. And the question is, the thing that we ask on this show every time, because I believe it's my sacred obligation. I can't do much to change all of this stuff, but I can continue to ask this question. Where are the defenders of God's law? Where are they? Where are the defenders of the rights of God here on earth right now when things like Shanghai are happening? Where is the voice? Where is the moral authority speaking out against that? Where, in other words, is Francis, the Pope, supposedly? The moral and spiritual recognized authority of the world. Where is he? Well, last week we showed you how he's over there planting trees in the Vatican. For some reason, God knows why. He's planting trees. And when he's not planting trees, he's making secret deals with the Chinese Communist Party, the very folks who are locking down Shanghai.
Meet Cardinal Joseph Zen, born in Shanghai 88 years ago. He came to Hong Kong in 1948 and went on to become the 6th bishop of the country. Now he has spoken out against the secret deal between China and the Vatican, saying the deal betrays the 12 million Chinese Catholic population.
The Pope, who is very courageous to blame a certain government for the unjust activity of those government, never said any word to tell the Chinese government that they should improve their human rights record, etc. They should grant the real religious freedom. So that's very sad. Even people outside of the church, they say, why your Pope is not saying anything against what the China is doing.
I'm sorry, friends, but Pope Francis is the arch villain of the day. It isn't Gates. It's not Klaus Schwab. It's Francis, whatever and whoever this guy is. He is worse than Xi Jinping because he's the one whose job is to shine the light of truth on the Lumen Christi, on Christ. He's the one who's supposed to augment and amplify and project the voice of Christ. And instead he's planting trees. He's silencing the voice of Christ in the modern world. So yeah, he's the worst one. And unless we have a moral and spiritual authority that returns to this world, Shanghai is the future. But see, the Vatican doesn't even seem to have a problem with that. They're not saying anything about that right now. They're very worked up about COVID, but they're not worked up about the fact that people are being treated like animals over COVID. And COVID is being used. Pope Francis, as head of the Pontifical Academy of Social Sciences, famously said that communist China is what he calls the best implementer of Catholic social doctrine, friends. You know what? We have to say this. We have to look at what's going on here. And you people who are in the Catholic Church, conservative, you got to wake people up. We got to be done with Vatican II. Guys, look what's happening. If this isn't a coup at the highest level of your church, what would the said coup look like? How could it get any worse? The communist Chinese locking down the world, putting our brother Catholics, our brother and sister Catholics in the underground church in torment and terror for 50 years. And Francis comes out and throws them under the bus. Francis comes out and makes a deal with their jailers, with their atheist communist jailers in the Communist Party of China. He makes a secret deal right now. That's what he's doing. As our brothers and sisters in China are suffering, the Catholic ones, every indignity and tyranny you can think of, and we just showed you video of what everybody else is doing, is getting in China. Being caged, treated like animals. Where is Francis? Francis's guy, again, Bishop Sanchez Serrando, said famously that China could be our model to respond to globalization, says Serrando, Francis's right-hand man. China, says Serrando, could be a model for the dignity and freedom of human beings. I kid you not, that's what he said just a couple years ago. How's that working out so far for you, Excellency?
Outside several apartment compounds, fences going up, neighbors sharing shocking images of new barriers on social media. Listen to them howl from their balconies as they're further caged in.
Time to plant another tree. And of course, you remember this guy Serrano. This guy didn't come out of nowhere. You remember we were talking about him. We've been talking about him for a couple of years. Remember when he was introducing Bernie Sanders to all the movers and shakers inside the Vatican?
Francis, Ban Ki-moon, Bishop Sanchez Serrando, and Jeff Sachs. And Jeff Sachs now, he's a special advisor to both the Pope Francis and Senator Bernie Sanders, the communist, who, by the way, was invited to speak at the Vatican by the same Bishop Serrando. You can see him right here, in fact, escorting the communist Bernie Sanders into the Vatican speaking gig a couple of years ago, getting ready to shake hands with, well, I'll be doggone, the communist Evo Morales. Remember this guy? What a coincidence. The communist crucifix guy.
And it's only getting worse. Do you see what this means, friends? That on every issue now, from COVID to China to lockdowns, vaccines, Francis is on the other side. Team Francis has become the ministry of truth for the globalist cabal.
Paul VI Hall, where the Pope usually holds public events, Pope Francis received the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine developed by Pfizer. He is expected to receive the second dose in 3 weeks. After receiving the vaccine doses, the Vatican launched a vaccination campaign. The Pope was one of the first people to receive the shot, but the moment was not caught on camera out of respect for his privacy. Benedict XVI's personal secretary, George Ganswein, assured that the Pope Emeritus would also receive the vaccine.
And ironically enough, after that little papal roadshow, even Bill Gates is now forced to admit that the immune system that God created all of us with is the most effective thing against COVID.
Where would you assess where we are today in beating COVID-19?
Well, sadly, the virus itself, particularly the variant called Omicron, is a type of vaccine. That is, it creates both B cell and T cell immunity, and it's done a better job of getting out to the world population than we have with vaccines.
Sadly, according to Bill Gates, it's a sad thing. I know, is that a Freudian slip? Very sad. Hey, well, yeah, it's just tragic that what's going to happen if COVID goes away? How do we lock down the world? Sorry, Bill, but that's what it looks like to us. You know, Bill Gates has lost everything, including, by the way, his own wife, his own credibility, especially his own credibility. And now he's just furious with those of us who weren't out drinking his vats of Kool-Aid over the past 2 years. He's blaming us.
The scale of the misinformation, once you move past the mainstream media, is so wild you almost have to laugh about it. I mean, Dr. Fauci and I are just killing millions of people to make money. Hydroxychloroquine is this miracle cure that somehow he and I have masterminded, avoiding people saving their lives by taking this thing. There's no doubt that the misinformation enhanced vaccine hesitancy, and that maps to hundreds of thousands of deaths.
So now everybody's talking about this new ministry of disinformation that Biden is setting up. Mis and dis. Basically, what Biden is doing there is obviously taking his orders from Bill Gates. Here's what's happening there.
As if they don't have enough issues to deal with, they now have an idea, and I honestly thought this was just a belated April Fool's joke, but they are actually going to create in the Department of Homeland Security a Bureau of Disinformation. It's basically a ministry of truth. And what they want to do is they want to be able to put out false narratives without people being able to speak out and fight back. They want to be able to say things like Russia collusion and perpetuate hoaxes and then have people like us be silenced. They want to be able to advocate for COVID lockdowns. They want to be able to advocate for school closures, things that are not supported by the evidence, but then when you speak out, they want to stifle dissent. And so we reject this bureau in the state of Florida.
And this, of course, comes right on the heels, interestingly enough, I would say ironically enough, this comes on the heels of Elon Musk buying Twitter. What do you make of that?
I find the timing of this so curious. The government lost its private censorship board, Twitter, when Elon Musk threatened and looks like he is going to be able to buy it. And so they're creating a public censorship board, leading to Elon, your guy, calling this disinformation board, quote, discomforting. That's what he tweeted out. Don't you think Musk is even more emboldened at this point to really take on this fight for free speech?
So let's just talk about this Elon Musk phenomenon. I know we're running a risk because he's getting lionized or demonized depending on who you're talking to. But on this show, we always try to take a nuanced position on everyone. Let's find out where this phenomenon fits in with what we're doing, with our work. Everyone's talking Elon Musk and how he's gonna save the world. Well, I hope so, and I will admit that this Twitter war certainly exposes the real agenda of the left, of the evil, of the bad guys, of the globalists. And in that sense, it's very interesting to keep an eye on what Musk is doing. And praying at the same time that sort of what happened with Donald Trump, where he suddenly began to see, because of the hatred that he was facing from the folks he used to run with, he begins to move in a more sane direction, which pushes him to the right, which ultimately, stranger things have happened, could bring him into the light of Christ even. He's not there yet, don't get me wrong. But he is looking right now, he's seeing the demonic influence of the folks that he used to think were normal. Basically, that was his world.
If you want some great weekend entertainment during some downtime, just look at some of the things that Elon Musk has been tweeting lately. It's quite remarkable. He put out this one graph before, like an illustration, I should say, and he puts himself as left of center in like a little stick figure, right? And then liberals are not too far from him and conservatives are over here.
Yeah,
and then he shows through the years how liberals have gone all the way over here, and they're calling him a bigot.
But again, because Musk is certainly no daily communicant, no right-wing extremist, it becomes very interesting to see how the woke left is reacting to him. The woke world hates Musk, and what we need to do is look at why. Why do they hate it? Elon Musk just tweeted out a couple days ago, ironically enough, the truth of the matter. He writes, quote, "The far left hates everyone, themselves included." So what does that mean? What's happening to Musk really does shine the light of truth on the fact that the largest hate group on the face of the earth are those guys, the globalists, the folks on the left, who hate humanity, who hate babies, who hate God, who hate family, who hate gender, who will not even say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls anymore, because they're so full of hate for everything that came before them. They're the enlightened ones. They don't even know if they're boys or girls anymore. No wonder they don't want to use the words boys or girls, ladies and gentlemen. They don't even know what that means. Supreme Court justices do not even know what that means anymore. So these people hate Elon Musk because there are any number of reasons that would make sense to us. You've seen him with his kids? Again, weird guy, but he loves his children. He's talking about having more children, in fact. And they hate children. They don't want anybody to have more children. Elon Musk homeschools his children, and they hate homeschoolers. He actually cares about humanity, where they want to eradicate humanity from the face of the earth. Just listen to Bill Gates. Got to cut that down. Got to cut that population down. Got to get rid of people. Got to go down to Africa and make sure those little black people stop having babies, right?
What we do between now and 2050 with education, with economic growth, with health and nutrition, that'll really set the course for moderating the population growth between 2050 and 2100.
That's what Bill Gates wants. This isn't what this guy Musk wants. He wants more babies in the world, as we'll prove in a moment. Klaus Schwab, he wants you to own nothing and be happy, while his WEF forces every company in the world to promote LGBTQRSTUV agenda with the ESG. Now, you got to pay attention to this. This is important. Environmental, social, and governance. This is how they're going to have corporations become more powerful than governments.
The ESG Risk Rating. A free, confidential rating tool that assesses your environmental, social, and governance risk. It distills the complexity of ESG into a single score, yet allows you to interrogate the detail. Leaders want to know where their organizations are excelling and areas requiring focus. We bring that focus in two ways. First, by leveraging the World Economic Forum's ESG metrics in a coherent framework.
So does your company, for example, support LGBTQRS rights? No? Well, then you're not going to have a good ESG score, and so no real money is coming your way. Is your company diverse enough? Is your company green enough? Are you committed to equity and inclusion? Our buddy Klaus Schwab is the father of the ESG, of course.
We all know we need to make the world more resilient, more inclusive, and more sustainable. So the stakeholder concept, and particularly the ESGs, are a very important part of getting business involved.
You want to know why they hate Elon Musk? Here's Elon's tweet from just 2 days ago. Quote, "I am increasingly convinced that corporate ESG is the devil incarnate." And by the way, the company with the best ESG score at the moment is Microsoft, of course, while Tesla ranks among the worst, even though Tesla put electric cars on the map. So what's up with that? Why are they doing this? It's because Musk says, very simple, Musk believes he can solve the climate. For a second, don't even think about whether you believe in the climate crisis. Just understand what he's saying. He's on that side. He's on that side of the aisle. He believes there's a climate crisis, but he says he can solve that climate crisis by 2030. Well, Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates, they want to exploit it and they want to build it. I don't know if they even believe in it, but they want to exploit the terror. They want to terrorize people with climate crisis in order to build a new world order. They don't want Elon Musk coming in there and fixing it. Tesla, in my opinion, is to climate change what ivermectin was to COVID. You see? A possible solution to a problem the bad guys actually never want fixed because they're using it, they're exploiting it, you see? But put all that aside for a moment. If you want to know why they hate him, there's only one thing to think about. And that is the number one reason why they hate this guy. And it is extremely serious and it overlaps nicely. It dovetails with our entire raison d'etre as traditional Catholics, conservative Christians, patriots. The reason they hate Musk is this.
So we need to watch out about population collapse. Low birth rates, I think, is a big risk. And this is actually this is definitely the civilization ends with a whimper, not a bang, because it would be a sad ending. This is not a good way to end.
Do you have any new projects dealing with these topics that you've just addressed?
Well, I'm trying to set a good example on the kid front.
6 kids.
Yes. For now.
Now, you don't have to be a genius to realize how flagrantly this flies in the face of Bill Gates, of the World Economic Forum, of Pope Francis, quite frankly, of the United Nations. This is it, friends. This is what COVID was all about. This is what it's all about. There's too many people, and overpopulation. Well, that's what causes climate change. So they truly believe this. Reducing the population of the world in the demonic little world of Bill Gates is what it's all about. And, most importantly, it's also been the driving force behind the Christian culture war for 50 years, the pro-life war that we've been involved in. And now you got Elon Musk launching nuclear warhead missiles at the overpopulation crowd, their lying argument, their fake news.
There are not enough people. I can't emphasize this enough. There are not enough people. If people don't have more children, civilization is going to crumble. Mark my words.
That's something we have to see, friends, as an opportunity for us. We simply must, despite whatever reservations we have about this rather odd character, Elon Musk. There's a reason why Elon Musk supports Texas's pro-life policies right now. He's not speaking out against them, and the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, is absolutely convinced that Musk is on board with even the pro-life movement going on in Texas. So yeah, it's no wonder that Elon Musk's war on Bill Gates' sacred cow, overpopulation causing, climate change. It's no wonder that Musk in doing this is attracting the attention not only of us, not only of a lot of conservative people who have a lot of disagreements with Musk on other issues, it's attracting the attention of a lot of thinking people anyway, people like Jordan Peterson.
Yeah. And Musk, he's a far-looking man, and so he's looking around the apocalyptic corner, let's say, and like, we're running out of people. And what that means, of course, is that you run out of young people. Well, and this idea that the planet has too many people on it, there's no sentiment more implicitly genocidal than that statement. So what do you mean too many people? Exactly. And what do you mean the planet? And what do you propose to do about that exactly? Mass abortion, is that your answer? Or should we do something a little more dramatic? Maybe we'll just shame people out of having children.
And we know why this is happening. We know exactly why this is happening. We have watched them more than anyone else. We've watched them for 50 years, removing the foundations of civilized society. God, family, country. We've seen it happen. As Catholics, we've seen them dismantling the Catholic Church, the Church of Jesus Christ, to make room for what? For their godless New World Order. We've watched them do it. We've suffered under that. They reset the Catholic Church long before they ever had the guts to try to reset the world. They had to get the church out of the way. And now Elon Musk, like Donald Trump, presents us with another opportunity to raise the most important arguments of the day, to say this is what they really want. They want to crush God. They want to crush the family. They want to crush patriots. They want to crush countries. This is what they really want. They want to put us in those cages in Shanghai. And so when you see what's happening, when you see people realize, oh my gosh, the conservatives, the traditionalists, the Christians, they weren't exaggerating. They weren't being paranoid. They're literally locking up the world now. So now suddenly we have an extremely receptive audience that may know very little about God, prayer, heaven and hell, religion, but they know something's really wrong in the world. So we have an obligation to step up our game. Most receptive audience right now, and it's becoming a global audience everywhere you look. People do not like what's happening. They are not in favor of this new vision of the new world order. They're afraid of it. So they're looking for other people with answers. Well, guess what? That's us. And by us, I mean all those who have still retained belief in Christ as King, that God exists. The trouble is today there's very little spiritual or moral leadership left. They're over in the Vatican planting trees, you know? It's ridiculous. And down here, the level of the pews, it's become the Lord of the Flies. And guys like Elon Musk, you know, they've got all the money in the world, but they don't have the truth. They may be seeking the truth. They may see some of it, a little bit of the light, but they don't have it. They don't have the pearl of great price that we do have. And if we came to truly understand what that means, we would know there's nothing this world can do to us. We have no reason to lose hope. We have no reason to quit or to surrender, to give up. We have every reason now, and we see what happens without that pearl of great price, without God, the darkness that covers the earth. We have every reason to have utter confidence in the mission. So these guys like Musk, you know, they can search for truth in science, but without the queen of sciences, which we understand, which we have not given up on, without theology, without God, the demons will eat guys like Elon Musk alive. Look what they did to Trump. We have the defense. We have the truth. We have the truth that Musk seeks, which means the demons that will destroy Elon Musk cannot touch us, friends. Cannot touch the sons and daughters of Christendom, the remnant of believers who are hanging on with all of our strength to the faith that was handed down to us by our fathers. And we're the ones then, if we can do it, if we have the courage and the confidence, we're the ones that need to go out now into this no man's land of darkness and plant the cross again. Plant the standard of Christ the King. And by doing so, boldly answer the question for guys like Elon Musk who are searching in the darkness for answers and for light. They see us standing there, boldly standing there, answering the rhetorical question of Christ himself. When the Son of Man returns, will he find faith? The very fact that we're standing there, and that we want to stand there, and that we want to earn the right to stand there, answers the question in the minds of truth seekers everywhere. And we say in answer to that question of Jesus Christ that yes, he will find faith, because he will find us, because he will find our children, he will find faith. So help us God. That's the strategy. That's the agenda. We need to believe in this with all of our soul, in our heart, in our minds, with all of our hearts. And if we do that right now, if we commit to do that, believe no matter what we see, no matter how they say God is dead, no matter how they try to crush religion, if we believe that one thing that God is, then we have guaranteed that we will live to see this precious new world order of darkness obliterated from the face of the earth.